Hello there folks, welcome back to A Chap Reviews, and my name is Ash and it's my job to give you my views of a recent movie that I've seen from the point of view of a middle-aged British guy. So it might be a little bit different from some of the other reviewers out there. Yesterday I went to see the new Running Man movie. Now of course I'm of an age where I remember the first Running Man movie from, I think it was 1987, starring, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger in his heyday as the super action star of the cinema. This movie, the 2025 movie, is not a remake of the original Running Man. It is, in fact, a different adaptation of the original Stephen King movie. And whilst it shares the same name, it does have a very different plot. Now, of course, in the original, it was much more flamboyant, much more showy. It was much more action-packed. This movie, and I would describe this as, it is, of course, a science fiction action thriller. It's very different. It's got a few more dark undertones to it. Featuring, of course, the up-and-coming A-list action star Glenn Powell, who I think does a great job, starring as Ben Richards, the Arnold Schwarzenegger role from the original movie. There's a few other named actors in there to sort of pack it out. Josh Brolin, William Macy, a few other stars in there, which sort of boost it up. But Glenn Powell carries this movie with his charisma. He is definitely he is the A-list action star of the era. And I think he will go on to fulfill that role for some time too, if his portrayal in this film is anything to go by. Now, to just give you the outline of the story, it is different to the original Running Man. And you know what? When I was watching it, it reminded me of another adaptation of a Stephen King movie from earlier this year, The Long Walk, which of course is another dystopian future, sort of the world gone to hell type movie. That's exactly what this is. We are propelled forward to a dystopian future where Glenn Powell is an ordinary working man who, because he has a strong sense of righteousness, he's fallen on the wrong side of the corporation which rules the world. And basically he's been blacklisted from employment. He's got a sick child. His wife is working in a cocktail bar as a waitress. He's desperately struggling to make ends meet. And the only way he can do that is to go to the television network, which runs a number of television programs which involve basically hurting people as part of the entertainment of these movies. And there is a television program called The Running Man, in which the contestants in the movie, in the television program, are hunted for 30 days by a number of hunters, but also members of the public. So basically, they get released into the wild and they have to hide and just basically survive for 30 days. There's a few things they have to do. They have to mail in a video every day to show that they're still alive, they're still carrying out their mission. And yeah, it's kind of a cat and mouse action for the rest of the movie. And Glenn Powell is an extremely angry man. He's got this sort of inner rage about the wrongs of the world and the corporation which has put him in his position, and he really goes out there and sort of takes on the corporation. And basically the story as it unfolds is him encountering a number of people for their own motivations who help him along his way. And ultimately it comes to the big showdown where he fronts up to the corporation and he sorts the situation out. He rights the wrongs, he calls them out, and he corrects the issues which he sees as being perpetuated by Josh Brolin, who is the producer of this Running Man program. I found it quite a long, slow film. There were plenty of action scenes in it, and it was about 2 hours in length. I believe the original Running Man was shorter, and it felt like there was a lot more going on. This one felt like it was a bit more dragged out. There were lots more gaps between the action scenes, and it was quite a dark, foreboding movie where I wasn't left with a strong feeling of upliftedness at the end of it. I did enjoy it. I'm going to come up front now and tell you that I'm going to give it 3 bowler hats out of 5. It's a steady average, I would say. You know, it was a 2 hours of entertainment, and it's always going to suffer in comparison to the original. Of course it was. The original was in an era of the 1980s where there were much more, you know, flamboyance involved in movie making. And also Arnold Schwarzenegger, the world's biggest star, was the actor in that original movie. This one, yeah, Glenn Powell, he's got a name, but he's not quite of the same stature as Arnold Schwarzenegger. And there certainly wasn't the same showbiz and razzmatazz involved in it, particularly the hunters. Now, in the original movie, the hunters were these huge, bigger-than-life characters, you know, with flamethrowers and electricity, and, you know, they were almost like superheroes. In this one, they were far more mundane, far more pedestrian, and defeating them didn't feel like such a great victory for our protagonist in Glenn Powell. That said, I did enjoy it. There were many moral virtues being communicated to us through this movie, you know, about the issues of big corporations controlling the world and how perhaps the world will fare in the future if they do come to dominate society and the media and manufacturing. They will control our lives from you know, from beginning to end, basically. So very, very interesting subtopics to it as well as we went along. But for me, I enjoyed it, but it certainly wasn't the best movie I've seen this year. It certainly wasn't the worst. 3 out of 5, a steady performer, a good afternoon's entertainment, but no more than that. I hope you have enjoyed my review today. If you have, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to see more in the future. Take care.